places across the country. While on tour, the band is open for multiple Grammy Award-winning artists. Several of their songs have received national airplay, including 2 singles that have landed in the Billboard Top 30. Let's give a big Hutchinson High School welcome to Attaboy.
We're safe and sound. Thank you all so much for Attaboy. This is the You Choose Tour. And if you know this song, feel free to stand up and sing it with us. Oh, don't you dare look back. Just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said, ooh, ooh, shut up and dance with me. We were victims of mechanical, physical, if you will, to determine the winner of a dance-off. So, here's what I need. I need a senior or a junior, an upperclassman who is willing to represent the upper class in this dance. All right, come here. All right. Oh yeah, come on up here, come on up here. All right, all right. Now what's your name?
Eli.
Eli, what grade are you in?
I'm a senior.
He's a senior. All right. So we got Eli from the senior class. Now I said this is a dance-off. That means it's a competition. That means we need some competition for Eli. So that means I will take either another junior or senior upperclassman who's not willing to let Eli take all the glory here, or I'll take an underclassman who's ready to step up. I'm just saying. Who's he gonna be? Let's see here. Oh wait. All right, come here. Come here. All right. Got our second contestant coming out here. All right, all right. Okay, so we have Eli from the senior class, and we have... What's your name?
Dylan.
Dylan from what grade?
Sophomore.
Sophomore, all right. So, Eli from the senior class, Dylan from the sophomore class. Here's what's gonna happen. In just a second, the band's gonna kick into a song. When they do, don't dance. Yet. Okay, I just want you to take a deep breath and prepare yourselves. Because I'm gonna come to you one at a time. I'll say go, you show us a couple of dance moves. Then I'm gonna come back after you're both gone, I'm gonna say go again. And when I say go again, you're both gonna dance head to head, toe to toe, leaving it all on the dance floor. All right? All right, Dylan, come right over here for me. All right, guys, here we go. All right, just loosen up a little bit, take a deep breath, get yourselves ready, okay? All right. Here it is, here it is, here it is. Eli, go! Okay, that's good, that's good. Dylan, get ready. On your mark, get set, go! Okay, now, when I say go again, you both go at the same time and you show us everything you got. Ready, set, go! your voices have been heard, probably by some middle school down the road, and you have declared the 2016 You Choose Tour Dance-Off champion to be none other than Eli! Now, both of these guys, congratulations Eli, nice job. Both of these guys did a fantastic job. Would you give them a big thank you as they head back to their seats? I personally believe that we could take this up a notch. Because there's a group of people that never want to be outdone by students. So, could I have Mr. Garcia come up here? Where's Mr. Garcia? Would you join me up here? And could I have Mrs. Morris? Where's Mrs. Morris? Can I get Mrs. Morris to come up here? That'd be great. And could I get, is it Mrs. Gates or Mrs. Getz? Is it something like that? Yeah, come on up here. Come on up, join us up here. Alright, so here's the thing. Like I said, teachers never want to be outdone by students. They might not tell you that, but you can trust me, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to give your teachers an opportunity. Some would say of a lifetime. To do exactly what the students just did, all right? So, teachers, come on over here, spread out just a little bit here. Here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna kick into that same song. When we do, please don't dance right away. We're gonna stretch first, because I don't want to be throwing a hip out right down here with me, okay? So we're gonna stretch out, and then I'm gonna come to you one at a time. I'll say go, you show us a dance move or two, and then I'm gonna come back after you've all gone, I'll say go again. You all go for broke, and you teach your students how to do this thing, all right? So, here we go. Teachers, let's stretch out a little bit, all right? Get yourselves ready, all right? Do what you gotta do, all right? Okay, ready, get set, go. Okay, ready, go. On your mark, get set, go. Teachers, when I say go again, you cut loose and you show us everything you got. Ready, get set, go! I'm sure you're wondering who won, and I'm just going to go out on a limb here and just say it's wrong, like winning and losing, that maybe we all just lost. So, would you guys just give a huge thank you to every one of your teachers? Just before we do the next song, I'd like to give you the idea behind it before we play it for you. And actually, when I was a sophomore in college, I decided with a group of friends to go on a trip for spring break, okay? We decided for part of that time to spend it at a place called Ron John's Surf Shop. Anybody ever heard of it? Okay, a couple of you been to the beach. That's good. All right. In case you're unfamiliar with it, it's kind of this famous beach story. So we're hanging out there for a little bit. It's time to go. We're walking outside, and as we get closer to our van, we notice one of our friends. Her name is Polly. She was standing by our van, and as we got closer, we realized that she was crying. So we try to find out what's going on. It turns out, while we were inside, she, knowing that we were heading back to cold, wintry Pennsylvania and seeing how beautiful it was outside, she decided to just go outside and enjoy that weather, to have some downtime, just relax a little bit by herself. And while she was out there, this jerk decided that he would say some inappropriate things to her. I mean, he basically saw this girl standing there minding her own business, and he thought it would be a great choice to walk up to her and using words. I mean, he basically disrespected her so badly that she felt like nothing. So obviously my gut reaction was to go after that guy. People look at that little situation, that little interaction, and they might say, well, big deal. That guy didn't do anything to her. He just said something to her. why is it such a big deal? Why don't you get over it? Why are you upset about it? Why is she sad about this? Just, whatever. All he saw was how society or whoever might label her based on her appearance, and he decided to treat her as nothing more than that. And that's how they're upset. But as I thought about that situation a little bit more, what dawned on me was this. Man, how many times do we act just like that guy? Like, maybe not exactly, but how many times do we get caught up in assuming things about people based on what we see or what somebody else has said about them before we ever get to know them? And we forget in those situations when we meet someone new, when we're hanging out with different people, that we have an opportunity to choose to treat people as more than what we see. Like, we could choose to treat someone as more than a straight A student, or more than a straight D student, or we could choose to treat someone as more than a popular guy, more than an unpopular person, or in the case of my friend Polly, as more than anything based on just their appearance. We could choose to do better than that. See, what if Polly actually believed what that guy said? What if she bought into the lies that he was saying about her? What if I believed every negative thing that someone has ever said about me? I mean, some of you are here today, and you've already been given or had forced on you a label that you don't believe, but it's been there so long, and it's been there so much that you're starting to believe, or you're starting to think, maybe is this true? I don't know. Maybe that's you. But you are more than any label that anybody can put on. I am more than the negative things that somebody says about me. We can choose to move past the labels. We can choose to move past and go deeper with people to find out about people's lives. We have that opportunity every time we meet someone new. Because we are more than any of those things. This is a song called We Are More. They said I could be a king by gaining everything, chasing those American dreams. So you can kiss my ring, I'll build a throne to make my status known. They said I could be a king. And talking about making choices, a little while ago I had to make an interesting decision of my own. It was while I was working one of the coolest jobs that I've ever had. It was for a company called Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. I worked on a cruise ship and I was youth staff. But in case you've never heard this, sometimes cruise ships can get a little bit of a reputation. I mean, sometimes it might be referred to as like the Las Vegas of the seas, like what happens on a ship stays on a ship kind of thing. And unfortunately, even though it's a really fun atmosphere, what can take over on a cruise ship in not a great way is alcohol. For instance, if people on a ship can come up with any excuse to drink, they will take it. Those experiences, so before I even left, I made a simple decision, and that was that while I was on the cruise ship, I just wasn't going to get into the whole drinking thing. Simple decision, made it, moved on with my life. And then I got to the ship. And now that decision is getting put to the test, right? It's not at a distance anymore, it's right there. So as I would talk with people, we'd just be hanging out, they'd have some interesting responses, right, when they would find out about that choice, all right? Most people, not a big deal at all. It's like, cool, you do your thing, we'll do our thing, we'll still hang out together, we'll still go to parties together, we'll still be friends, it's all good. Second group of people, they were a little bit confused initially, like we'd be talking, just being kind, they would say, hey, can I get you a drink? And I would say, yeah, sure, I'll have some water or soda. And they'd say, no, come on, man, what do you want to drink? And I would say, no, seriously, water, soda, that's fine. And then there was a third group of people. This one guy in particular. I won't forget this guy because as we were talking, he found out I wasn't going to get into the whole drinking thing with him. And one of the first things he said to me was, that's it. Before we're done on this ship, we are getting you drunk. Yeah, I was like, what am I supposed to say to that? How am I supposed to respond? I just told you a choice that I made. You're like, nah, that's not the one you're going to make. You're going to go with me on this one. Like, what's the big deal to you? Well, in the end, I did stick to my decision. He never got me drunk, and I also saw my decision affirmed in a couple other ways. For instance, I had to stand by and watch as some of my friends made some really, really stupid choices because they were drinking too much. I also had friends and coworkers on board who got fired from their job and kicked off the ship because alcohol was involved. And on the other hand, when it was all said and done, I could look back on the whole experience and say, hey, that's never gotten in the way of anything I ever wanted to do here while I've been doing this job. It was great. It worked out really well. Because that's a choice that you're going to have to make. All right? And we certainly hope that you make a responsible one. Okay? But the point of this story is that from here on out, the rest of your life, you're going to be faced with choices. And sometimes people will try to just make your choice for you. They'll try to just assume what you're going to do. Right? Like on the ship, it was just assumed that I was going to be part of the drinking thing. It wasn't if, it was when. Or maybe it's assumed that you're going to treat somebody a certain way, like we talked about before. Or maybe it's assumed that you're going to follow a certain path in life, because that's what your family's always done. Or maybe it's assumed that you're going to do what your friends or people your age are doing just because that's how it is. And we forget in all these times that we have an opportunity to make decisions that are good and that are right, regardless of what anybody else says or thinks. So the question comes down to this. Are you going to be the kind of person that just lets other people assume what you're going to do and dictate your choices for you? Or are you going to think for yourself? Are you going to make decisions that are good and that are right because that's the opportunity that you have every day? Because you get to choose. I have another song for y'all. This is a reminder that you have choices and that your choices actually count. It's called Everything Matters. Everything we do today sends out eternal echoes. Every single choice we make is a song that never stops. Everything we do today sends out eternal echoes. Every single choice we make is a song that never stops. It goes on and on. I got one more thought for you on this whole choosing thing. It's this. Some of y'all in this room have made a lot of good decisions in your life. I know that none of us are perfect. And that we all make poor decisions at some time. We mess up. All right, some of y'all have a reputation already as that guy or that girl that just makes a lot of poor decisions. It happens. Okay, but here's the thing. In the same way that you do not have to let other people dictate what you do, you do not have to let your past decisions dictate your future ones. Every day you have the opportunity, with every choice, you have the opportunity to write a new chapter in your life. And that can happen word by word, choice by choice, to change the course of your story. That's the opportunity you have every day. It's a song about stepping out and taking risks. Because to be honest with you, if you're going to be the kind of person that does think for yourself, if you're going to be the kind of person that does start that new chapter for your life, it's going to take that. Okay? And it kind of relates back to that dance-off we did earlier. When we had students and we had some teachers come down here, and they did some pretty crazy stuff in spite of what hundreds of other people would think about them.